bit here and there. It's 1.25 inch cable, forge welded. Right now it's kind of in a rectangle shape. I'm going to try to widen it out because I need to make a kitchen knife out of part of it. The rest of it will end up as hunting knives, I guess. You know, who knows. But I'm going to use the treadle hammer for a little while until I tire out. Then I'll go to the hammer and anvil. But here we go. I know it seems counterproductive to go after that edge, but it's I still need to tighten up the edges and the corners. So every now and then it'll happen. We're gonna go after the hammer for a minute. All right. I gotta reload the forge with coal, get some of this coal burning and coked out so I can kind of store it for later. I don't like to use a ton of fresh coal when I'm forge welding. And right now, because we're drawing stuff out, I just need the heat. I don't need crazy heat for forge welding when I'm doing this. So that coke, I'll just keep kind of storing it off to the edges, and I don't know, works for me. Well, it's time to do some maintenance on the treadle hammer. So from here on out tonight, anyway, it will be hammer and anvil. So, as you can see, this is about where it was. It was about like this. And we've widened that up a little bit. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna put it a little further into the fire and move it all kind of at the same rate. I'm gonna let this come up to temp kind of easy, that cold section there. And I do have another hook point. I do have another hook point on the treadle hammer. Maybe I can get it fixed real quick here. We'll see. All right. Fun. But it's been time to do some work on it. We'll see how this goes. I think I might raise it up a little even. Let's see if I can get this done real fast here. This is why I put 2 hook points on this piece, for just this reason. Let me tell you, well, we're gonna be okay. Back in business. I would have liked to have gotten, I forgot I wanted to put coal on there, but so this is the difference. I don't know if you can see that. See if I can get the right light. But that's coked out coal, or close to it. And this is what fresh coal looks like. Total different animal, right? I want that. I don't want this touching stuff when I don't want this touching the metal or anywhere near it when I'm forge welding. So I build this up, burn it out, the impurities get burned off, and it's closer to pure carbon, and those impurities will collect to the steel, and that's bad. So sometimes it'll prevent steel from 2 pieces from forge welding together, and we don't want that. We get that middle section up to temp. Maybe this will work. I'm not sure. There's a reason I was using that 1 hook point. This is what busted off. It was kind of welded onto it like that, and broke off on me. So, oh well, it was gonna happen sooner or later. I haven't broken anything on the treadle hammer in a while, so it's good. That's good. But this whole arm needs to be replaced. You can't see it from there, but it's tipped over. The bushings have been rubbed through, and we'll have to build a new arm, and it'll be better than it was, I guess. That's kind of what keeps happening, is you fix one thing and it wears out in a different spot. Grab a drink real quick. We'll see if it works. switch over to the anvil for a second. Oh. All right, we'll get this covered in burning coal. Oh. And then we'll put a little fresh coal on top. Oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna go back to the treadle hammer. Turn that a little more. All right. All right. All right, we'll go back to the anvil real quick just to kind of flatten it out. Before I put it back in the forge, I like to straighten it up, just so when I turn it, it's not all twisted and kind of making a mess of the, I don't want it to make a mess of the coal bed. So, I don't know if you've been paying attention, we've moved it quite a bit already. I'm gonna go back to that end. I don't need the whole billet at 2 inches wide or better. I'm gonna go back to that end and I'm gonna put gloves on. I got some crap from some guys on Facebook. They don't wear gloves in their shop. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't have any hair left on my fingers, and it's because it's really hot in that forge right now. So, you know, if you can't swing a hammer with gloves on, you got to figure out how to do it. And, you know, these fingers have shrunk because of the heat, but my hands doesn't go quite all the way in anymore. I don't know what to say. Like, you want to use gloves when you're swinging and to protect yourself from the heat, you go right ahead. It's crazy for somebody to tell you not to. And I know traditional blacksmiths, no gloves, whatever. Who cares, right? Like, it's not the 1800s. Come on, these gloves are like I could open a pop can with these gloves. They're so loose and I mean, come on, I can swing a hammer with it. And I don't think I'd be any more efficient without the gloves. I really don't, because my hands would get hot and then I wouldn't do things. You think I'm going to be more efficient? And I hope you guys see this. Like, they're not going to even watch this. I might share this part with them. We'll see. I probably shouldn't. I'll get kicked off the group. But come on. I can't imagine those guys are sticking their hand near the hole in a gas forge without a glove on, or they've got tongs this long, and how do you reach? I don't know how you do it, but I'm sure you got a way. But anyway, back to the treadle hammer. That's enough me bitching about other people. Yes, my anvil's a little too low. I gotta get the heat out to the end. That part I just did widened out really nice, and it's getting a little thinner. So it's going to heat up a little quicker. Now, here, we'll do a few minutes on this. So traditional blacksmith height on the anvil should be with your, if you're standing there normal, your knuckles should touch the face of that. Anvil. Now, mine's about 6 inches low, and it drives some people nuts. But you know what? It feels good to me. My back gets a little sore, and I spread my legs out a little lower. Now, if I spread my legs out, my hand is at that height. So there's like the rules are they're not really rules. You don't have to have your knuckles on the top of the forge standing at normal height. I don't want to swing up here if I want to get down lower on that thing. And it works for me. So if it works for you, great. Who cares? Come on, you guys. Don't take yourself so seriously. It's not rocket science. You want to think it is, but it isn't. Most of this stuff is pretty simple. And I'll show you that cable someday, and you'll be like, oh my God, how did that work? Well, you know what? I didn't clean it up at all. It's full of oil. It's full of crap from the mine. Come on. I'm never going to use this video probably because I'm getting a little crabby about it, and I shouldn't be. Not really crabby, but here we go. One more thing. I don't like it when people tell you have to do it this way. There's a million ways to do something right. A million ways. Well, what works for me might not work for you. And you got to find what works for you. I can help you try to do what works for me, but doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So you got to find something that works for you and you do it. This isn't just about blacksmithing, this is about everything. Throwing a baseball, hitting a baseball, life in general. Find something that works for you. Back to this real quick to get her back in the fire. All right, back in the fire. And I like to stick my hands in the fire. Hard to do that. Hard to do that without gloves on. These are Tig Welding Gloves. They're made by Superior Glove. They're the Endura brand. They've got a Kevlar liner. They're cut proof, cut resistant, puncture resistant, something like that anyway. But these are the ones I use. $3.99. That's the wrong way. I'll try it that way. How's that? That's the glove I use, and it works for me. But it's like your hands got great dexterity with them. Tig Welding Gloves. Just because they work for me doesn't mean they're going to work for you. So use whatever works for you. If you want to go bare hand, go right ahead. But so one of the suggestions I got was that I wet my hand and then grab the steel. Well, I got news for you. It's hot right here. This hasn't touched the fire, but it's hot. Now I can grab it, but not for very long. And I don't want to put water on it. I don't want to cool it off. I'm going to let it ride out the heat cycle, the whole heat cycle, and then I don't want to put water on it. I don't want to risk hardening it at all until I'm ready to harden that steel when it becomes a knife. I don't want to cool it off quick. If I do anything, I'll throw it up on top of the forge and it'll just kind of slow cool off. That's it. I'm not going to put it in water. You do what works for you, but that doesn't work for me. I've broken stuff because of that. So I don't screw around with it. And again, until I'm ready to harden, like intentionally hardening something, I don't put it in oil, I don't put it in water. I just don't. So something to keep in mind. Again, everybody's got their own opinion on that, but that's how I do it. I've also got a chunk of steel outside that I use like a heat sink, and it'll cool down quicker than that, but I'll put it out there and go on to something else, and then I'll come back to it if I need to grab onto it cool again. So there's that, right? Like it's just a thick piece of steel that right now outside it's, I don't know, 50, 60 degrees probably, upper 50s, and that's how I do it, but okay. to the anvil for a minute. We're gonna put that in a little further now. Oh, it's hot. I'm gonna let that kind of percolate a little bit instead of. I meant to turn it back. It's hard. All right. Whew. Yeah, warms up in a hurry, but I'm gonna let that kind of slow heat. Whew. Got that end fairly wide. It's probably 3/8, maybe 7/16 thick. It's a lot of material. I can still spread it out a little wider. But I gotta get it a little further into the fire. I need a longer chunk, about 2 inches, 2¼ inches wide. I really only need about 2 inches wide, but I'm gonna go 2¼ because I don't want to take the chance that an edge isn't tight enough. Forge welding cable, there's a lot of mistakes that could be made, so you gotta. I don't want a loose edge on the. I don't want a loose weld on the edges, especially on the knife edge. It could chip out. So I got to go a little wider than I would normally. I'm gonna grab this one with the gloves too. Well, it'll be the same. We're gonna go treadle hammer, and then I'll probably try to flatten it out a little bit with the. I'll go back to the anvil and hammer, but it's close. It's almost. much did you get one?
Oh, that's a skein from
from before.
Yeah.
I'm recording something for the. I'm billeting out a chunk of cable, but I'll go back to here.
TikTok?
No, it's just a live. I'm gonna put it on YouTube eventually. Maybe I'll do a video of it off that, but no big deal.
Well, I hooked one on skein today.
What?
I hooked one on skein today. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that rod's up to the task.
Huh?
I don't think that rod's up to the task. I think it's gonna be a steelhead rod.
Oh, it's not good for kings?
I don't know what happened. I think the line got wrapped around its tail. I had no control of anything that fish, like, at all. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, at first I can kind of move it around, and all of a sudden, like, I had no say in anything I wanted to do. That thing shot, I think, 100 yards downstream and it popped out. And the line was all, like, it was all, like, ratty. By the, like, for like 2 feet, so I think that's what happened. It got wrapped up. Cause like it was all good, then all of a sudden it just went nope, right downstream.
Can you hear him? He's off he's king fishing. King salmon. We're in the UP. We get a great run off of Lake Michigan, a great run off of Lake Superior. Go in any direction and catch good fish. Well, Matt caught a couple kings this morning, but threw them back. A couple of males. He would have kept the females for the eggs probably, but anyway, I don't know if I'll share that part. But you wanna do a plug for your Facebook thing or your Instagram thing? No, he's done. What is it, Matt? Bergie 906?
Yep.
Bergie 906.
906.
What is it?
Bergie _ 906.
Bergie _ 906. If you're into salmon fishing and fishing in general, walleye, you name it. Browns. He's going to be working over the Wisconsin shorelines pretty soon here for browns and steelhead and some kings. Well, give him a follow. What?
You want a great rod, go to KJ's Custom Rod.
Yeah. Here we go. Alright, so this is thinner now, and I'm going to go back up to the top part, and we're going to try to keep it all widened up about the same. I do have a gauge that I should be using, but not just yet. this isn't gonna last too much longer. I've gotta go to work tomorrow, so I gotta go inside and kind of get ready for bed. But I leave at 3:30 in the morning my time to get to work, so that comes pretty quick. You know, I think we're gonna skip the treadle hammer for a few minutes here, a couple heat cycles, and see if I can get that end kind of evened up. All right. All right, here we go. All right. Whoops. All right. Whew. All right. So, a couple more heat cycles and that'll be about it. But this was good. I wish I would have had more time, but I had to do some yard work and went out and marked some trees for making maple syrup in the spring. I think we'll go with the treadle hammer this time. Yeah, it's ready. I'm gonna move this over just a little so you get a little better look at it. Tired legs. All right. Alright, well that's heating up. I should have done this before, but there's 3 sides on this. I got the flat, that's what I just used. This is what I've been using. This is what I would use to draw out, make it longer, or make it wider. And what's happening is it pushes, you know, it leaves an indentation in the steel, makes a thinner spot, and you know, I kind of move it around across the whole plane and it keeps widening, pushing. Or I could also do that with this, but this works better making it longer. It's kind of a double hit instead of a single. And it's a little harsher. Sometimes you make a mess. And using the back of a hammer like a cross peen, sometimes that's a little too violent of an edge too. This I find is really, it's kind of it's pretty soft. It doesn't move it too harshly, but works pretty good. This is my dad's deal. He made this for me. Well, he made it for himself, and then I ended up with it when they moved on to Florida. But pretty smart. In fact, the treadle hammer, someday I'll do a video just on the treadle hammer. But the treadle hammer was his design. Well, no, his buddy's design, and then he built it. But it works. Like my dad would tell you, he's not really a welder, but he welded it all up, and every now and then it breaks, and I fix it. But I'm not a welder either. I can forge weld, but I'm really not a welder. So I do the best I can. I've got a couple boys who can weld, who are welders. But you know, if they're not around, then you know, what good are they, right? So I just do what I can. I got a neighbor, he's a welder, and he's fixed this thing a handful of times, and I appreciate him to death. Like, good man. All right, here we go. Here, I put it back on the flat. But honestly, it's a little too, I probably shouldn't have done that, but it still looks pretty good. But before it was about the same width as it is down here, and we just widened it up some more. So I got to keep doing that a little bit and keep it going. But I think honestly, I think that's about it. I've about had it. I'm getting tired. But I'll do it again tomorrow for a little while. A little longer than today. Probably do a live on my Facebook page if you're so inclined. Maybe TikTok, who knows. But give me a follow. TikTok, YouTube. I'm even on Twitter and Reddit, but I haven't posted anything on there. But Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, those are the 3 main ones. But I'm gonna putz around with the other ones too, see what works. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.